Welcome, Vintage Race fans. Thank you for coming to check out my video. There's my good friend Sam up there with my Lambretta scooter. He's helping me out as my crew this weekend, which is awesome. I rarely get crew, and he's been doing a great job for me. It makes everything so much easier. So thank you, Sam. We are rolling out here for the Formula Ford Challenge Series Sunday race. It's the only race we're doing on Sunday and the last race we're doing of the weekend. It's the first race we have ever done on the Watkins Glen short course. That's the same course that NASCAR runs, so it has the bus stop, but it takes out the boot. This is VRG's Watkins Glen event. I'm rolling out in 5th place here. Qualifying was a lot of traffic. You take all those cars, you stuff them into a shorter course, and you get a little bit more traffic to deal with. So I never got a clear lap. I feel like I'm a little bit out of place on the grid here. I feel like my pace is a little better than 5th place, but we shall see. Hopefully I can move up a little bit. So let's run through the qualifying order here. Sitting on pole is Robert Dusek III, or as I know him, Trey. Trey is in the 1970 Winkleman. Sitting in second is Mike Kraus in a 72 Eldon Mark 10. Rare car, got Falconer bodywork. Third is Tim Hannon in a 79 Crosley. Fourth is Dan Pinowski in another Crosley. His is 76. Then fifth is me. I'm in my 69 Macon MR7. Behind me is, well, it says it's supposed to be a 97 Van Diemen Gray, but that doesn't look gray to me, so I don't know what that is. It might. The next possibility says it could be a 86 Crosley Chip Van Slyke, but it doesn't look very Crosley to me either, so I don't know what that is. But behind him I do recognize Doug Beatty in his Crosley. Behind him should be Mark Clark in a red Crosley. And then Leon is going to be, that's Leon Hodges, Austin, is going to be behind him in a 78 Zinc Z10. That's probably good enough for now for the run order. So I think we are pretty well warmed up here, getting ready for the start, trying to get things lined up. Hopefully we have a good start. I guess I have to apologize for the shaky camera work. It looks like the Velcro on my helmet for my camera is wearing out and getting a little not great. This is good. Holding a pretty consistent speed here. Little bit of a creep up. Not too bad. Three wide, fanning out. Take my spot at the apex. Try to get on the gas as early as I can. Duck in behind Dan and see if I can grab a draft, but he's out there where the draft isn't, so that's not working great for me. Typically what happens is I close in the braking zone for the bus stop as everybody lifts, and sure enough, here we are. Later on, this turn is flat. Don't even have to lift. Right now with the tires cold, not quite. Apologies for the track map on the left. It's lying. Watch the little red dot. So far all I've managed to do is hold my place. I haven't picked any spots up. Looks like Tim Hannon jumped from 3rd to 1st pretty early on, because Trey is now in 2nd. Mike Kraus is in 3rd. And Dan is getting ready to challenge that spot. Behind me, Doug's looking racy. He's probably going to pull towards the inside. I'm going to give him a lane. As long as I've got grip to the outside, and people have been driving there all weekend, so I was pretty sure I did, I can hold a little bit of a higher corner speed around the larger circle and maintain my spot. I'm getting a slight draft here, so I should be able to keep up. But Doug got a better draft, and he's going to come right on by. I don't think I'm going to contest him for the corner here. I'll just jump in behind. There's going to be plenty of time later. At this point, I'm pretty confident that this is the front group. I don't think the cars behind are going to stay with us. I don't have enough power to pull out and just pass Doug. I'm going to have to wait and do it somewhere else. Like that. Another spot on Trey. I think he had a moment of a hiccup in the car. Seems to be back on pace. But now we're 3 wide. Trey says, I'm out of here. Yep. So I saw that coming, and I've been waiting to talk about this sort of thing a little bit. And by that I mean I wanted to talk about situational awareness. I knew Doug was there, and I left him a lane. I knew that his angle, because he was coming from 2 lanes over to the right, was poor. So he was entering, that danger zone, that area where he's going to have difficulty making the apex and holding the apex. So I was prepared to move. I knew there was a lane to my outside. I knew there was some place I could go. And when I looked over and saw that he wasn't going to make that corner after all, I just boogied to the left and spent some time out in the dirt. Doug, to his credit, left me room to come back on track, knowing that I needed to, and we're still racing rather than having some kind of a big kerfuffle back there. Keep your eyes not just ahead, not just in your mirrors, but have a thought for what other cars might be able to accomplish with the line that they're on when they're racing around you. And Dan broke. He basically got a box of neutrals, went bang, and had no more drive. So after all that fun and games, I've moved up an entirety of 1 spot. I'm sitting in 4th. And that's mostly because Dan broke. So here Trey gives me a pass. We're going to work together. We know that we can't match the Eldon or the Crosley on straightaway speed. So we're going to see if we can work together, go faster as a pair than we can as singles, and try to drag them back. It probably won't take much. We're both faster than they are in pretty much every corner. So I suspect we're going to be back to them pretty quickly. Going by Trey. Happily, they're going side by side up there, which means it'll slow them down. And that should put Trey back into the draft. I'm a little bit lagging behind, but it looks like something's going to happen that's going to bring me right back here. I had to lift a little bit. Looks like Trey missed a shift. He gave me a wave by, but since I lifted to avoid him, we're both essentially starting from the same point, the same velocity, and we're just going to have to work together a little bit more. I've watched Trey's videos, and he does a lot of hand communication to try to explain to me what he thinks I ought to be doing. But my mirrors are not anywhere near good enough to see what he's doing back there, even if I was looking when he happened to signal at me. So, Trey, thank you, but I can't see what you're saying. So this is probably a good distance to pick up the draft and be at the bus stop by the time I catch Trey. I have to lift a little bit, but I look up and I see they're side by side, and then I see Tim got sideways, so I kind of freak out a little bit, thinking that he's about to have a big moment. And that throws me off of their tail. Now I have a bit of work to do. I am properly out of the draft at this point. That sort of messed me up. Fortunately for me, this is a good corner for me, so I'll pick up a little bit of space here. And we are also just about into the lapped traffic, so there are going to be opportunities. That one was easy, thank goodness. In the past, I've often gotten caught out by the lap traffic and I get separated from the group that I'm racing with. I know it happens to everyone. So here we are trying to figure things out. And it looks like he's going to stay to the inside, but he drifts a little bit wide. I took the outside because I thought he was going to hold the inside line, and even though I didn't really want to take advantage of that to get by Trey, I sort of had to go. That was the momentum I needed to get into. In this case, this is Tim up in front of me, his draft, because I'm counting on having him drag me back up to Mike. I'm just sticking a nose out here to try to get a little bit of cooling air. I can't pass him on the power. Here's some more lap traffic going inside. That worked out pretty well. Everybody got through. Normally this would have been a good distance to be at to get by a car using the draft. You can get a draft going up the S's, but Tim just pulls away. Maybe he was catching a little bit off of Mike and he then was able to run away because of that, but then he just goes right by Mike. He's got a lot of straightaway speed there. But he did exactly what I wanted him to. He dragged me back to Mike. And Mike left the door open, so I'm going to go ahead and drive underneath it. At this point, that corner is easy flat. Doesn't mean I have a lot of straightaway speed. Get by another lapped car. Mike got a little twitch, so I had to lift. but I think that I can hold on to Mike's tail in the draft a little better than I could Tim's. As long as he maintains speed through this turn here, maybe I can stick with him. I can't forget Trey back there. He's picking up the draft off the both of us. So I'm lifting a little bit, breathing the throttle, trying to stay here. I'll try and go around him, but I doubt it's going to work. Try to time it, but as soon as I put my nose out, nothing happens. So I've got to do something different. And that's outbraking. But sitting in Mike's draft and getting the benefit of all his straightaway speed did bring me back up to within spitting distance of Tim. So now I'm going to put on my trekking boots and I'm going to go hunt some wabbits. Close that gap down quite a bit. And that lap at a 1:24.75 was the fastest lap of the race. I was the only car to get into the 24s. So now's probably a good time to explain a little bit of bling I've got on my left hand. I think I've mentioned before that the car gets really hot in the cockpit. There's no real good place for the radiator exhaust to get out of the bodywork. A little bit leaks out around the suspension, a little bit underneath, but by and large it all comes out in the cockpit, and in this case, onto my knuckles. So, there, Tim's trying to shake me out of the draft there. So yesterday in the race I spent a lot of time in the draft and the car got really hot. It was about 220 water temperature, which meant the heat coming off of the radiator was really hot, and when we got done the race I knew my hand was kind of uncomfortable. It was a little difficult to get the glove off, but I didn't think anything of it. It always gets hot in there. And a little bit after that, I started to notice that it was blistering. And over the next half hour or so, it blistered pretty badly across my knuckles. So I got a bandage on it. And then for this race, my neighbor in the paddock, Chris Cozy, had a bit of reflective gold foil tape. And we put it over my glove, and that is doing a spectacular job at keeping the heat off of my knuckles. It feels cooler than the right. I think the right didn't get so hot because it often goes down and grabs the shifter there. That's going to be a bit of a project over the winter, try and get some airflow through the cockpit, get a better place for the heat to get out rather than right onto my knuckles. There's Tim trying to shake me out of his draft again. And we have a yellow flag, so I waved off the cars behind me. Don't know what's going on yet. Looks like we've had some contact and damage. 2 cars got into it there in the bus stop. So green flag here, we can go back to racing. But right now, I think the race is probably going to be cut short. I don't know how many laps we're supposed to have left, but I doubt they're going to let us come back around to the bus stop with a green flag and have to go through a standing yellow. I suspect that they're just going to checker it, so I got nothing. And sure enough, there's the checkered flag. So I'm sure I could have gotten up to Tim and made him worry. I'm not so sure I've got a good way to get around him. It would have had to have been probably in the penultimate corner, I'm guessing, would have been my best chance. I feel like if I did it at the bus stop, and especially if I did it at turn 1 or something, he just would have come back by me down the straightaway, either the straightaway up to the bus stop or the one going towards what is the long course turn 10, the penultimate corner. So it would have been an interesting challenge to try to get by him, because he was covering the inside, he was looking in his mirrors, he was trying to make sure that I wasn't super close. And it all worked out for him in the end, so congratulations to Tim on the win. I am absolutely thrilled with grabbing second. And sorry for those guys, everybody was fine. Damage was mainly to the cars and to Pride. So thank you. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure enjoyed it. Normally this would be the time when you would say like and subscribe, but I don't monetize my videos, so I don't care. I just hope you had a good time. Maybe you will come out and race with us sometime. Should that be something of interest to you, drop me a line. Comment. I will be sure to reply. I'll put a link in the description for the VRG and for the Formula Fluid Challenge series, so you can always check in with them as well. And I think that would be it for me. So this is Stefan Vapaa signing off. Stay safe.